Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm doing something a little different. I'm doing some nail art inspired by the brand of cat food that I feed my cats. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to be showing you the demo on these false nails I glued onto toothpicks, and as you can see, I painted all of them white. So for two nail designs, being both on the index and the ring nail, I'm going to be doing a gradient. So here I am just taking a makeup sponge, and I'm first going to go in with all these acrylic paints, and this color combo is inspired by the Grill variety pack. But yeah, so anyways, on one side of the sponge, I am just going to take my dotting tool and apply the colors like so. And for the reason why I used acrylic paint is because I didn't have any nail polishes in the color I wanted. But anyways, so now what I'm going to do is just dab it on the nail. And because I used acrylic paint, I'm going to have to wait for this layer to dry before I add another one. I'm going to be doing another gradient on the ring nail. That being said, I am just going to use this other side of the makeup sponge. And this time I'm going to be using a little bit cooler colors, and this is inspired by the Luau variety pack. By the way, if you don't know what a variety pack is that I'm talking about, basically it's just the, wet canned food. But anyways, once again, I am just using my dotting tool and I'm just applying the colors like so on the sponge. Fortunately, when it comes to gradients, they're usually a hit or miss for me. That being said, this gradient's okay. But yeah, you could leave it like this. However, with me personally, I wanted to bedazzle it a little bit. As you can see, I keep all of my nail charms as well as my nail art crystals here in this little container thingy-majiggy I bought at Walmart, and using some of my scissor tweezers. I went ahead and added the top coat to this nail. I decided to go with a shiny finish, and while that was drying, I just picked up the crystals and applied it near the top part of both of the nails. So moving on to the third nail design, which is going to be on the middle nail, is basically inspired by this Tiki Cat velvet mousse that I give my cats every now and then as a treat. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to paint on like the little swirly flower shape, if that makes sense. So I'm going in with my dotting tool and some purplish acrylic paint. If you can't tell, I just mixed in like regular pink and blue acrylic paint to create this color. I'm going to go ahead and paint on the swirlies all the way around. I suck at mixing paint. You can clearly see, the blue and the pink. Oh well. But anyways, so moving on, I'm going to go in with some yellow acrylic paint, and I am just going to go completely around the little flower. I'm now going to go around it for the third time, and this time I'm going to go in with like a baby pink. This is just regular pink acrylic paint that I mixed in with some, white acrylic paint. And yeah, as you can see, the thing's a little bigger, but I'm going to continue this throughout the whole nail. So that's pretty much it with that little flower thingy-majiggy. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some hot pink acrylic paint. And I'm just going to cover all the parts that are white. The reason why I'm using acrylic paint is because I didn't have nail polish in the color I wanted. Now, this part is super important, so I'm going to let all these layers of acrylic paint completely dry before I move on to the next step. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some white acrylic paint and my safety pin, and I'm just going to paint on velvet in the middle of the purple flower. So, being completely honest, I cannot write in cursive, lo siento. But anyways, so moving on to this bottom portion of the nail, I'm going to do my best to go in with some yellow acrylic paint and paint on a palm tree. When it comes to my freehanding and palm trees, it's kind of like my, ombre gradients. They're usually a hit or miss. But anyways, what I am doing here is just going in with my toothpick and, I'm trying to paint on some branches. I went in with my safety pin and I tried to create like the little, leaves and stuff. It's okay. So now moving on to the fourth nail design, which is going to be on the pinky. It is inspired by the gradient that is on this Tiki Cat After Dark can of food. And once again, I'm going to go in with that same makeup sponge I used earlier, but this time I'm going to go in with black, gray, like a, lighter gray, and some white acrylic paint to create a gradient. And once again, I am just going to dab it all over the nail. So this gradient turned out a lot better than my previous two. But anyways, so just to brighten this up a little bit, because Tiki Cat has such a vibrant packaging, I'm going to go in with some pink acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint on a hibiscus. I think it's how they're pronounced. On top of English not being my first language and my speech impediment, sometimes I mispronounce things. But anyways, So as you can see, I painted on the outline, and while that pink is drying, I'm going to go in with like a bright neon green acrylic paint and paint on some leaves. I then went in with some yellow for the pollen, and I added a little extra detail by outlining the flower with both white and black acrylic paint. Oh, I tell you what, my voice gets so raspy whenever I film these voiceovers. But anyways, so moving on to the fifth and final nail design, which is going to be on the thumbnail, is inspired by the, Tiki Cat logo. So starting off, I am just going to go in with my dotting tool and black acrylic paint and first paint on the outline of the body, the head, and the ears of the cat. So at this point, while the black acrylic paint is drying, I'm going to go in with some like salmon colored, if that makes sense. This is acrylic paint, and the reason why I chose this color is because my cats love the 7 flavored treats. Yeah, so while that dries, the black acrylic paint, at least for the eye area, has dried completely. So now I'm going to go in with like a bright neon green acrylic paint, and I am just going to paint on the cat's eyes. So no time lapse here, I'm actually going to slow it down to show you what I'm doing. But basically, I am just painting on like a football shape for the eyes. I then went in with some regular pink acrylic paint to paint on the little ears, and just kind of did like a little triangle shape. I then went in with a safety pin and I outlined both of the eyes. I also went in and painted on like a little nose as well as the mouth. I finally painted on like 2 little black slits for the eyes. So later on, I actually found out that I do have a nail polish in a salmon color, and since the acrylic paint was kind of patchy, I decided just to go over it. So with that salmon color, I just painted on a little bit of detail right there by like the little, arm, leg area. I then went in with some black acrylic paint and painted on the tail. Finally, last but not least, I have to paint on a little flower on the side of the cat's head. This can be any color you want, but I had some excess blue acrylic paint on hand, so I decided to use blue. And yeah, here's the finished nail design. So as you saw earlier in the video, my finishing top coat, I chose to go with a shiny finish, but here are the finished nail designs. And like I said, this nail art was inspired by this brand of food that I feed my cats. This is not a sponsored video or anything. Everything you see in the video today was purchased with my own monies. I just really like this brand of cat food because it's like non-GMO, no byproducts, really good and healthy for your cats. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and yeah, thanks for watching.